I want to thank everybody for coming tonight to celebrate our community and several of the people that are real standout leaders among us for the 5th Annual Leadership Awards celebration. All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Phil Lapp. I'm the chair of the board of the Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce. And tonight we're here to celebrate some standout people in our communities. The folks at the Center for Creative Leadership down in Greensboro, North Carolina, define leadership as a process that works to define direction, alignment, and commitment. And tonight we're here to celebrate the people who've helped chart our direction, people who are catalysts for creating alignment, and people who model commitment to their organizations and to our community. We at the Hanover Chamber are thrilled to host this 5th annual event with every year better than the last. And if I may, I'll ask Doug Wise, chair of the committee that helped create this wonderful evening, to come to the microphone and be our MC for tonight. Doug.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, thank you. Welcome. 5 times. Wow. Who would have thunk? But a lot of it has to do with you. This wouldn't happen without you. And yet this year we have yet another record attendance. We're creeping up on bulge time. We can't fit anymore in here legally or fire-wise or whatever. But you know, it's interesting, in the first 4 years that we've been around, we have celebrated some incredible organizations and individuals. And let me, if I may, just refresh your memories, because some of you are here for the first time. We've given achievement awards to Barbara and Dick Couch, to Dorothy and Jack Byrne, to the residents of Kendall, and to Jane Kitchell and Peter McLaughlin. Tonight, if maybe Barbara and Dick and Dave Urso from Kendall and Jane, if you could just stand up and be acknowledged, we'd appreciate it. Achievement Award winners. We've also given leadership awards to Trumbull Nelson, to the Hanover Consumer Co-op, to Coldwell Banker Redpath, and to Ledyard Bank. So with us tonight, I think, is Ned Redpath, Todd Thompson from Trumbull Nelson, and of course Kathy Underwood from Ledyard. If you just stand up and be acknowledged. And finally, we've given innovation awards to King Arthur Flour, to the Upper Valley Events Center, the Blue Sky Restaurant Group, the Montshire Museum of Science, Hanover True Value Hardware, Boloco, and Vital Communities. With us tonight, we have Steve Voigt from King Arthur, Bruce Genero from the Events Center, and Mary Margaret Sloan, the new Executive Director of Vital Communities. If you would please stand. I have just kicked off 16 very inspiring leaders. How lucky are we? We hope these awards inspire you to higher levels of achievement. Today's economic and social pressures are relentless and they're unparalleled. And more than ever, we need make it happen leadership in your organizations and throughout the community. As someone once said, "Behold the turtle. He only makes progress when he sticks his neck out." As long as our awards provide the inspiration, and as long as you create ways to help make this place we call home even better, the Chamber will continue to recognize and celebrate such achievements. You know, leadership takes a very different forms for different organizations and people, such as the case with Citizens Bank New Hampshire, who sponsored this evening's reception. What a pleasure to have them, an important part of a $132 billion commercial bank holding company, to be a caring member of our community. So to Citizens Bank, I say thank you. Another form of leadership is evolving. This year we find ourselves in a very special time and place. Quite serendipitously, all four honorees spend much of their waking hours addressing the issue of planning and implementing ways to indelibly balance and preserve our unique combination of natural, human, academic, and economic resources. With Hypotherm leading the way as our first-of-its-kind sponsor of environmental stewardship for our annual awards, we have prepared and produced a very special 8-page section in this evening's printed program, and I hope you'll look at it. It's intended to inspire you to action and to offer ways to take the first step as a concerned enterprise or individual. I encourage you to read it thoroughly. Our heartiest thanks to Hypotherm's Director of Environmental Stewardship, Jenny Levy. Please put your hands together for a wonderful initiative. Another form of leadership centers on this year's event sponsor. It marks yet another first for these awards. Employee-owned Cape Air is sponsoring this entire event for the second consecutive year, as they recognize the contribution to inspired leadership in the Upper Valley. They, too, are innovators in their industry by sticking their neck out with responsive and world-class regional service that brings humanity back to air travel. No wonder Cape Air is the largest independent regional airline in the United States. With us tonight is Dave Bushy, Cape Air's Chief Operating Officer, who's been a commercial pilot for 32 years, a true New Englander, University of New Haven, Bowdoin College, and now a resident of Hyannis. He cut his aviation teeth at Delta and JetBlue. Leadership and innovation and unabashed wit shape his persona. We thank Dave and his team for having the vision to sponsor this event. Please welcome Dave Bushy.
Last year I mentioned Bowdoin, and after dinner, one person came up to me and said, "I'm glad to see another Bowdoin guy. Is he here tonight?" Well, all right. Thanks for putting up with us, Bowdoin guys. I'm keeping you from dinner. This will be short. I'd like to just take a moment to welcome the Cape Air family that's with us tonight, including our two newest employees, Steve and Robin, who have joined Cape Air this evening at our table, and Rick, the airport manager. Cape Air is pleased to once again be a sponsor of the Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce's 2011 Business Community Leadership Awards. What a wonderful venue tonight, and what a wonderful theme that we have this evening. Cape Air provides daily air service, you probably know that, 4 times a day to Boston and 2 times to White Plains, with limo service down to the city, 8th and 33rd Street if you want to go. We have been an active member of the Chamber since our arrival here a few years ago, and we are thrilled to be a sponsor for this dinner for the second year in a row. We're also proud to tell you that our passenger numbers have increased by 22% in the past year alone, and we hope to enplane 10,000 passengers next year at this airport. Thanks for your loyalty and support. The theme of tonight's awards, environmental stewardship and sustainability, is something to which we at Cape Air are deeply committed. We know that we fly airplanes. We know that we put pollutants out into the atmosphere. We have to do something about it to make up for that. And being a strong corporate citizen involvement with each one of our communities, and we now have 40 communities, counting Nevis that we opened 3 days ago, has been at the heart of our culture since we started 22 years ago. We see environmental stewardship and sustainability as our responsibility and as an opportunity and key to the future of our company. Our 900 employees, and we are an ESOP company, are the heart and soul of our company. and they wholeheartedly support what we started 2 years ago, a sustainability initiative to reduce environmental impact and promote stewardship in all areas of our operations. Through this program, we installed a 250 kilowatt solar cell system and did energy efficiency improvements to our headquarters in Atlanta. Excuse me, Hyannis, past life. And we now are net zero in our use of electricity at our Hyannis headquarters. We have installed fuel-saving equipment on our fleet of 65 Cessna 402s, putting us on track to reduce our fuel consumption and emissions by 4% a year, and we burn 3 million gallons of aviation fuel a year, so that's significant. We also have provided tools and resources to our employees, including home energy audits and CFL bulbs, to help them save energy and money in their homes. And we've created partnerships in the communities we served to promote environmental stewardship and smart energy use, including electric vehicles on Nantucket, cow power in southern Vermont, and the cleaning up of beaches in Puerto Rico. Taken together, our actions so far have reduced carbon output by the equivalent of taking 321 passenger vehicles off the road, and we're not done yet. The key to stewardship, of course, like any business, is committed people, like the people sitting at this table today and the other 900 people with this company, and the culture that continues to nurture them. That is our goal at Cape Air, and there is no doubt, as I see the people in this audience, many who I count as friends now, and the award recipients, that that is the goal of this community as well. I wish to convey our heartfelt congratulations to the 2011 award winners, Advanced Transit, Ava Gallery, Julia Griffin, and Lou's Restaurant, and to thank them for their leadership. They have demonstrated that sustainability is not just about good intentions, it's about taking action. And it doesn't happen all at once. It takes time and commitment. I thank them for their good example, and Cape Air looks forward to working with all of you to make sustainability a reality. Thank you. We love surprises at Cape Air, so we've got a little surprise for you, and our Jacqueline Donahue, our marketing director, has got a little surprise for you. And then I think I've got another one.
Yeah. So each of you have a bread plate in front of you. If you would, take a look, pick up your bread plate, and whoever has my business card taped to the bottom of their bread plate is the winner of 2 round-trip tickets on Cape Air. So if you would, please stand up if you've won the tickets. You can see who you are over there. You got one over here, one over there. Congratulations.
And just for fun, because we are all about fun, we have Mocha Agati as our motto, make our customers happy and have a good time doing it. We also have Gopa Agati, green our planet and have a good time doing it. Why don't we give 2 round-trip tickets to each of the award recipients? Would you like to do that, Jacqueline? Thank you.
Well, now our award winners will be fly-by-nights. Okay. Thank you, Dave and Jacqueline, for that great present to our winners and to whoever won from under their plate. Before we break bread, I want to acknowledge a couple of other people and say thanks, because they are people that are making it happen so we can spend time after eating focusing on the awards. First, for the 4 people and organizations who sponsored this year's winners, namely Dorothy and Jack Byrne, Jane Kitchell and Peter McLaughlin, Ledyard Bank, and Dartmouth College. Each consistently provides leadership in their advocacy of the Chamber's mission. You'll hear more from them later. Next, to the 13 Chamber members who joined me on our event steering committee. They helped create and promote this event. They were on the phone all the time bugging you to pay your bills or whatever it may be. Let me call them out by name, have them stand, hold your applaud. We'll do one big banger at the end. Tony Abate, Granite Value Capital, Sally Boyle, Purse Kaplan Sterling Investments. Dean Cashman, Lake Sunapee Bank. Jeff Goodrich, Pathways Consulting. Are they standing? Stand as you will. Cheryl Herman, Remax Group 1 Realtors. E.J. Kiefer, Dartmouth Office of Conference and Special Events. Kim Levlock, Courtyard by Marriott. Kristen Licciardi, who's in the Chamber Office. Whit Mitchell of Working in Sync. Janet Redman of the Chamber Office. Kathy Underwood of Ledyard National Bank. Sam Westelman of Coldwell Banker Redpath. Now you can thank these people. One member of the committee, a fellow named Mike Conway with Pixate Creative, couldn't attend, but I'll thank him for you. So that we have a permanent record of this evening's dinner and ceremonies, we're being videotaped. Our good friends at CATV, under the watchful eye of videographer Luke in the back, have offered to do so pro bono, so our thanks to CATV. And finally, our meal, and for that matter, every aspect of this event, from the bonsai flowers to the drapes to the lights to the everything you see, would not have taken place had it not been for the planning, the creativity, dedication, and tenacity of the Chamber Executive Director, Janet Redman, and our Events and Administrative Coordinator, Kristen Licciardi. So these two, please stand and give them one more applause. It is hard to imagine how much work went into this night, but that's yesterday. Now have a good meal. So first we're going to start the presentation for the 2011 Hanover Area Chamber Leadership Awards, and the first award will be the Leadership Award. Let me explain for those who it may be the first time. We have three categories of leadership when we started this program 5 years ago. The first has to do with achievement. People who have made things happen in the community, whether they're individuals or organizations, whether it's community service and not-profit or for-profit. It just has to do with making things happen. And that's what achievement's all about. The second is leadership in its purest form. A company usually, whether for or not for profit, that sets the standard in their industry and are truly perceived as leaders because of what they do. You don't have to be big, you just got to be best. And the third has to do with innovation. And too often I think we kind of pass it off as something, well, we'll let Bill Gates do that, or we'll, whatever. The fact is that everybody knows that in your organizations, be they for or not for profit, that innovation is critical, especially in times that we're in today, when you got to make more happen and have less resources to do it with. But we're finding ways to do it. That's the beauty of the Upper Valley. It's the beauty of this country. So those are the three standards. Within innovation, we tend to give an Innovator Award and then a Small Business Innovator Award, because too often we get enamored by big and we forget about little, and we're not going to forget about little. So that's why we have both. So having said that, we're going to first have as our first awardee the Leadership Award itself. After we chose Advanced Transit, we heard from Dorothy and Jack Byrne that they would very much like to sponsor this award because they have been intimately involved from almost the get-go, or at least since Van was there. And nobody remembers anything before Van. That they've been a supporter, but that they sadly could not attend this evening's ceremonies. But the good news is that the DEW Corporation, which was intimately involved in the construction and modification of their headquarter facilities, making it very green, very sustainable, very environmentally stewarded properly, stepped in and said that they would present the award. Bob Haynes, for those of you who don't know him, is DEW's now new Director of Business Development here in Hanover. He's been an important force in real estate and in construction in the Upper Valley. and most recently as president of his own real estate brokerage firm. So to present this year's Leadership Award, please welcome Bob Haynes.
Good evening. I know a lot of you, and I'm very pleased to be here tonight, and I'm especially pleased to be presenting this award to someone I've gotten to know quite well over the years. I first met Van, Advanced Transit's executive director, and a few of his board members, including especially Bill Bashnagel, who's with him tonight, in 1989. Van was then the head of a fledgling nonprofit transportation entity with big dreams, but not a lot of money. I had a background in construction and land development, and I was building a career as a real estate broker locally, and I was also interested in solving puzzles. Over the next 2.5 years, we looked at 36 possible sites in several towns on both sides of the river. That number of options was then and still remains a career record for me, thank goodness. Why I stayed with this assignment so long after so many, well, I guess this site isn't going to work, Bob, was simple. I recognized that Van and his organization were totally committed to their dream of finding a permanent home, despite the long odds, most of which were driven by economics. Van insisted that I shouldn't be discouraged, and that my job was simply to identify and help them evaluate possibilities until a solution magically presented itself. He made it sound very simple, and that success was almost inevitable. In any case, I bought into that. I now recognize that Van's genius is to empower people to achieve their goals when they are clearly stated. He does it in a very quiet and underwhelming way, as any sly fox would. To make the proverbial long story short, a site in the Billings Park in Wilder eventually rose to the top of the pile. Although it had numerous issues and contingencies to resolve, the planning, negotiating, permitting, and grant applications eventually worked out. Advanced Transit acquired the land, built its new home, and the rest is history. Fast forward 19 years. Advanced Transit has now outgrown this beautiful facility. And the company that I now work for, DEW Construction of Williston, Vermont, and Hanover, was selected in a design-build competition to undertake a major expansion. The project broke ground last fall, and the award-winning building was completed in late summer. It is really exceptional, and if you haven't seen it yet, you should go see it. Everyone involved with it is justifiably proud of it, and they love operating from this new expanded building. So as you can see, I've had the privilege to watch the evolution of an extraordinary organization from 2 ringside seats. It is clearly imbued with DNA similar to that of the other people we're going to honor tonight. And some of the others that come to mind like it, in my mind, would include David's House, the Montclair Museum, and the Haven, some of other exceptional organizations that we take for granted sometimes. If I may inject a personal note here, one of my grown children doesn't drive. Colin works for the Hanover Co-op, and he lives nearby. And when a ride with a friend or a family member isn't possible, he hops on a bus for a doctor's appointment, to shop out of town, to teach karate in Lebanon, or visit his buddies. And without Advanced Transit, his life would be much less enjoyable. And when you think about it, that story isn't very unusual. We all know lots of people who rely on Advanced Transit. I'm a guy who loves metaphors, and you can ask any of my family because they hear them endlessly. But I think about Advanced Transit as an entity, as a boxer fighting above its weight class. It thrives in a relatively small rural market, and yet it racks up continuously awards and respect throughout the region and even nationally. The industry people who are aware of its operations marvel in its success. It is endorsed by growing ridership as well as 2 governors and the congressional delegations of Vermont and New Hampshire, the transportation departments in both states, and the Federal Bureau of Transportation. Think about that for a minute. What other organization can you think of that has that kind of support? My explanation about how they do this is quite simple. First, there is a clear desire for excellence from everyone associated with Advanced Transit. Second, there is a total commitment to the welfare of their customers and stakeholders. And finally, it has outstanding leadership. Although this award is given to the organization itself, what is obvious to me is that without the vision, dedication, and guidance of Van Chestnut, Advanced Transit wouldn't be quite as wonderful. So in closing, I would like to congratulate the employees, the board of directors, and Van for their continued exceptional efforts on our behalf. Van, please come up to the podium, and thank you.
Wow, I'm embarrassed. Well, what a pleasure it is to be here tonight among such good company. Speaking for Advanced Transit, I'm honored to be recognized by the Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce. This is a great community organization that, like Advanced Transit, has grown and developed with the help of many community partners. Our local partners include Dartmouth College, DHMC, the City of Lebanon, the towns of Hanover, Hartford, Norwich, Canaan, and Enfield, our 2 regional planning commissions, and other local organizations such as the Upper Valley Transportation Management Association and the United Valley Interfaith Project. Our growing philanthropic outreach program started 5 years ago, just 5 years ago, with the help of our award sponsor, the Byrne Foundation. We received additional support from the New Hampshire Charitable Foundation, and now we have 1,000 donors, many of whom are riders. Part of our outreach is our ongoing capital campaign, which helps ensure that federal and state grants used to make our green building project possible are being matched 100% from private contributions. This means that all local tax dollars are directed towards our transportation services that you can enjoy. Our corporate sponsors of our capital campaign include Muskoma Bank and Ledger Bank. And I should add that among the many corporate sponsors on the bus exteriors includes our host tonight, Cape Air. Thank you. We have initiated new activities and projects to strengthen our ability to be conscientious environmental stewards. Here are a few examples. First, our new hybrid buses are the first of their kind in New Hampshire. Another example is our small but proud solar power plant, which sits on top of the Advanced Transit Garage and is the first solar feed-in tariff project to go online in Vermont. The sales proceeds from the generation of clean electric power helps pay for the energy needed to support our transit service. Speaking of services, let me acknowledge the great staff and board volunteers who work every day to provide you with great service and make Advanced Transit successful. I'm very humble to be your leader. Please stand and be recognized. We have staff members and board members here. Please take a bow. Of course, our passengers are the real heroes behind our success. They often stand in the cold and rain, although we do have many new bus shelters and plan to have more. 800,000 passenger trips per year ranks Advanced Transit as the second highest number of riders of any transit system in New Hampshire. Advanced Transit riders who have cars and choose to leave them at home save over 1 million automobile miles per year and remove over 15 tons of carbon dioxide from the Upper Valley air. These riders can even plan their local bus trip on their computer or smartphone using Google Transit. The Where's My Bus section of our website shows you where the buses are in real time and, more importantly, when they will arrive at a particular bus stop. Partners, donors, staff, board volunteers, passengers are all important to Advanced Transit. But for me, the most important person is my wife, Lee. On those nights after a difficult municipal budget meeting, She's there for me, waiting patiently for me to come home at a time when I might not be the easiest person to live with. Of course, that never happens. So all of us at Advanced Transit enjoy serving the Upper Valley community. Your appreciation and support means a great deal. Thank you so much for this honor and recognition.
Now you know why we're so lucky to live up here. That's one reason. We got many more. But before we go further, in the back and to my left is Chef Justin, who did this great meal. Thank you, Justin. He said to me, Doug, be sure to tell everybody to come back to the Hanover, and it ain't what it used to be. Right? Right. Okay. Jane Kitchell and Peter McLaughlin have been longtime supporters of the Ava Gallery and Arts Center, selected for our 2011 Business Innovator of the Year Award. Jane and Peter earned our 2010 Achievement Award last year and raised their hands to be this year's sponsors of Ava's Award. Their stature in philanthropy and community service is special and unparalleled in the Upper Valley. An unavoidable conflict prevented Peter from being here tonight. However, to join Jane on the podium is an artist in her own right, an avid supporter of the arts in the Upper Valley, and former board member and chair of AVA, Linda Rush. Linda also serves on the boards of Northern Stage and the Hood Museum of Art. So to present this year's Business Innovator of the Year, please give a warm welcome to two wonderful women, Jane Kitchell McLaughlin and Linda Rush.
Thank you. And before I talk a little bit about Ava, I want to congratulate the other winners. We are all pretty lucky to live in an area that has these incredible leaders. Peter's sorry not to be here tonight, but it is with our utmost pride that we sponsor Ava for the Business Innovator Award. As an organization, Ava is a bit tricky to define. Ava is a spectacular physical place that allows artists to coalesce, houses education programs supporting community members discovering new artistic skills or honing old ones, and is a place where the public gathers to see eclectic art exhibits, catch a lecture, or attend a community celebration. Ava is also people. Led by the indomitable Benta Torjason, the talented staff includes educators, curators, and technicians. Ava is community members who connect to art through meaningful volunteer opportunities. And Ava, of course, is a multitude of local artists. But what has impressed us the most is Ava's ability and desire to reach outside of their own interests and bring value and art to unrelated organizations, populations, and programs. A couple of examples. Ava has collaborated with Safe Art, a Chelsea-based nonprofit. Together, they create opportunities in a safe, encouraging environment for youth who have experienced trauma. Art here is used for self-exploration and healing. Ava, along with VINS and the Upper Valley Land Trust, host Art in the Wild Camp. On conserved land, campers discover the synchronicity between art and the environment and science. Additionally, Ava has partnered with organizations as diverse as Dartmouth Medical School, Grafton County Senior Citizens, Opera North, Vital Communities, and the Special Needs Support Center. These organizations are able to deliver their own missions in more creative ways because of their collaboration with Ava. And finally, it is important to realize that while Ava is our local treasure, it also has a reputation extending well beyond the Upper Valley. This is illustrated by a quote from Becky Lawrence, the past executive director of the New Hampshire Arts Council. She says, "I have seen Ava grow from a tiny gallery above the Dartmouth bookstore into the vibrant, welcoming arts center that it now is, with a mixture of amazement and pride for New Hampshire. When visiting dignitaries come from the National Endowment for the Arts, Ava was always a must-go-to stop, a place to brag about our state's great art offerings. Housed in an historic building, green with environmentally sound practices, AVA integrates professional art exhibitions and support for artists with programs for young and old alike. For me, AVA helps set the standard for New Hampshire's art organizations. It's simply the best. Peter served many years on the Arts Council, and he took a great pride that AVA served as a benchmark for arts organizations. He believes that AVA's willingness to take programmatic risk while demonstrating fiscal prudence has allowed AVA to not only sustain, but to thrive. And now Linda's going to speak a little bit from the artist's perspective.
AVA, Alliance for the Visual Arts, was my first stop when my husband and I retired here in 1999. As an artist member, it became a second home, a place to study, exhibit, and to meet fellow artists. By 2002, I was a board member, and the board achieved the purchase of the magnificent H.W. Carter Overall Factory building. A capital campaign not only brought the building up to code, but funded a major renovation with the goal of attaining LEED certification. LEED, as most of you must know, stands for Leadership in Energy and Environmental Design, the standard for green building design. In the fall of 2007, AVA's doors opened to 4 beautiful, large, light-filled exhibition spaces, 7 teaching studios, including 2 children's studios, a green printmaking studio, a digital media arts lab, and a stone carving studio. The second and third floors of this building housed 21 studios rented out to individual artists. Then, in 2008, AVA was awarded LEED certification with a gold rating, the second highest possible, a remarkable achievement for a building more than 100 years old. AVA was founded in 1973 by a group of artists, one who sits at our table here, Lily Mayer, was a founding artist, and this group of artists needed a place to show their art, and that place was just a maker barn in Norwich. Today, the building on 11 Bank Street in Lebanon is more than 40,000 square feet, and the organization is dedicated to promoting the visual arts through year-round educational programs and exhibitions that nurture, support, and challenge New England artists, providing art classes for children, teens, and adults of all levels and abilities. This current brochure, this one, many of you may have seen in and about, lists more than 100 classes with enrollment that exceeds 1,300. So this is awesome. Scholarships, internships, teaching, and volunteer opportunities are all integral to AVA. It is a place to be creative, to learn, share, and savor the Upper Valley community. This organization is most fortunate to have been guided by the excellent leadership of Bente Thordarson, who is my friend, my mentor, and a friend to all. For the past 25 years, I would like to invite Bente to come up and accept this most deserving award.
Thank you, Linda. Thank you. Well, I don't know what I can say to follow the two of you. Anyway, it is such an amazing honor for Ava Gallery and Art Center to receive this year's Business Innovator Award from Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce, and I am thrilled to accept it on behalf of our wonderful arts organization. As I thank the Chamber for this award, I want to assure you that it will serve as an incentive for our continued efforts to make art and art experiences accessible to people of all ages and abilities. Special thanks go to Jane and Peter McLaughlin, not only because of their generous sponsorship of this AVA award, but also for their critical support over the years. They, along with many others, help sustain AVA. More than ever before, we are seeing how support for the arts is the first to be slashed during difficult economic times. Yet, in the face of uncertainty, Upper Valley businesses and individuals, including countless volunteers and board members, have supported and believed in AVA for years. First among those individuals are the artists, who are the core of what we are about. And, as Linda already mentioned, one of these artists is Elizabeth Lily Mayer, who is here tonight. In addition to her remarkable creative pursuits, she was one of the original founders who helped launch AVA in 1973, and she and husband Michael have been pillars of support since then. And thank you. Today, AVA is able to serve the Upper Valley with a wide array of arts programs and public arts initiatives, including a vibrant internship program and a free after-school drop-in for teens, supported by Hypertherm's Hope Foundation and by the Couch Family Foundation. Most of these programs take place in our beautiful renovated facility, formerly known as the H.W. Carter & Sons Overall Factory, then a rickety code-violating building, and now a magically transformed art center that has been upgraded to comply with 21st century international building codes. This energetic, multifunctional building now allows us to reach deeper into the community with our programming. Therefore, let me acknowledge some of the major players who made this project possible. Virginia Winky and President Pete Kelsey, who could not be here tonight, but whose contributions to our capital campaign were so substantial that our facility is now named the Carter Kelsey Building. Linda and Rick Rush, prominent capital campaign donors, also played a vital role in the planning of the building project. In fact, Linda served, as you heard Jane said, brilliantly as AVA's chair during this memorable period. We are proud of the fact that AVA's Carter Kelsey building has become one of the greenest, most energy-efficient buildings in New Hampshire. This accomplishment, which earned LEED Gold status, we can't say that often enough, is in no small part due to the extraordinary team of professionals responsible for the renovation. With us here tonight is Stuart White, who was heading our architectural team from Banwell Architects and who is a pioneer of green sustainable building project, and who just the other day got an award as a Sustainable Designer of the Year from New Hampshire chapter of US Green Building Council, and congratulations to you. Todd Thompson, who couldn't be here tonight, should also be mentioned. He was Trumbull Nelson's project manager and an expert on LEED buildings. Finally, let us not forget the important roles that Ledyard National Bank and especially Mascoma Savings Bank have had and continue to have for us. AVA is fortunate and grateful to have an art facility that also serves as a hub for other groups and community organizations, which, with your continued support, will enable us to pursue exciting collaborations that are certain to enrich the Upper Valley community in enduring ways. Thank you for this award.
Okay. As a clear and defining reflection of leadership and action by Ledyard, last year's Leadership Award winner, the bank is sponsoring this 2011 Small Business Innovator of the Year Award. Representing Ledyard is Dan Emanuel, who's Vice President of Commercial Banking. As a professional banker for 22 years, Dan has been a portfolio manager, risk manager, private banker, and commercial lender. I'll see you later, Dan. He was active and is active in the community as treasurer for Vital Communities, a board director for Upper Valley Music Center, and volunteer for the Special Needs Support Center of the Upper Valley. To present this year's Small Business of the Innovator of the Year, please give a warm welcome to Dan Emanuel.
Thank you, Doug. Good evening, everyone. Several years ago, when I announced to some friends that we would be moving to the Upper Valley, their first response was not, "Oh, we'll miss you." It was, "Lose." I gave my friends a puzzled look, and it didn't take me very long to understand why, after moving here, they responded as they did. If there is any business that gives Hanover its sense of place, that business is Lou's Restaurant and Bakery. Lou Brissett opened his namesake business in 1947 and quickly established his restaurant as the place to go for good meals served quickly, in large portions, and at a fair price. With quality and service, Lou's won the devotion of students, professors, family, and visitors alike. We are fortunate to have as our very special guest, Ann Brissett, wife of the late Lou Brissett. We welcome Mrs. Brissett and thank her for her dedication to Lou's legacy and for her support of the current stewards of Lou's. Tonight, we honor Toby and Patty Freed, the faces behind Lou's for almost 20 years. Before I talk about what they have done in that time, let me tell you a little bit about them that you may not know. Toby started his baking career in Boston as a pastry chef at a new restaurant in the South End. It's no surprise that that restaurant became known more for its desserts than its entrees. While there, he won first place in a prestigious pastry competition. His primary opponent was the pastry chef for the Ritz-Carlton. Shortly after that contest, the Ritz pastry chef offered Toby a job, which he created specifically for Toby. This was a huge honor for a newly graduated pastry chef in a city filled with much talent. After 5 years, Toby and Patty left Boston for Woodstock, Vermont to start a family. A couple of years later, a friend told Toby about Bob Watson. Bob wanted to lease the bakery at Lou's. It was obvious that Bob was thinking about moving on, but it was a small bakery that Toby had always dreamt of owning. Toby and Patty realized that with Lou's, it would be all or nothing. So, in 1992, they put everything on the line and purchased the business. As a commercial banker, I can tell you that bankers look very closely at financing restaurants. We look even closer when the new owners are succeeding a successful and respected founding owner. Toby and Patty managed this transition in excellent fashion. Like we all hope people describe our time on earth, they made Lou's better by taking it in new, distinctive directions while preserving a rich tradition. Toby and Patty fondly recall taking a Sawzall to the original cases to make them more inviting to walk-by customers. Toby soon found that the average patron was not as accustomed to the European baking style he grew up with in Vienna, Austria. Toby learned to blend that style with the American baking to create moist, sweet pastries and cakes. As Toby has said, if nobody eats it, what's the point? And eat these baked goods we have. How many people here haven't eaten a Lou's birthday cake or a slice of pie? And the mountains of pies at Thanksgiving Lou's bakes is as much of a Hanover tradition as tuning into the Macy's parade. Last year, Lou's baked over 700 pies in 3 days. Patty will tell you, though, that one of her fondest achievements came in 2009, when she coordinated the effort to make Lou's a green restaurant. Initially qualifying for charter member status, Patty will proudly tell you that Lou's now holds the 2-star green restaurant rating. And while the traditional breakfast fare of corned beef hash remains a staple, Toby and Patty now offer low cholesterol, heart-healthy choices in equally large portions. The Lou's experience also creates that sense of place in our community. That experience is driven by a team of dedicated employees whose daily greetings and engaging conversations are as natural and sincere as the conversations we have in our own kitchens. It is common to find mother and daughter employees working side by side. To name a few, Jenny and her daughter Haley, Becky and her daughter Sarah have shared that experience. I know that on more than one occasion, noted publishers have tried to convince Becky to assemble many of the touching stories she has been a part of over the years, just by being willing to listen, willing to talk, and willing to engage the traveler and resident alike as we share the common thread that is our daily journey through life. And what would the morning cup of coffee or lunchtime bowl of soup be without walking into the firestorm that Brian and his counter team orchestrate every day? Their warm welcome and dedication to superior service add that desperately needed relief to the most mind-boggling of days, at least for me anyways. Brian is always ready to meet the needs of anyone that simply must have that cruller to make it through the day. Or the way he passes that Rice Krispie treat to our children, welcoming them to their first Lou's experience. That extra effort and the sincerity behind it leaves a lasting impression. Patty put it best when she said, excuse me, Lou's employees are all very proud of what they do. There is no one employee that makes Lou's what it is. It is that little bit of everybody, all put together. Toby and Patty have preserved a Hanover gem for all of those who are lucky enough to visit our community and for our community itself. On behalf of the Chamber and as a representative of Ledyard National Bank, who has partnered with Lou's over the past 20 years, I'm honored to introduce to you the faces behind Lou's Restaurant and Bakery and the recipients of this year's Small Business Innovator of the Year Award, Toby and Patty Freed.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I didn't bring any crawlers yet, and my shirt was picked up by my daughter. That's my design. First, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Ledyard Bank for all the support they've in the past they sponsored tonight. We have a special connection with them because back in 1992, when we were the new kids on the block, Ledyard Bank continues to be a great neighbor. Making Lou's run successfully takes a Lou's village, a unique combination of talent, experience, commitment to continue the tradition started by Lou Brissette in 1947. The residents of this village are wonderful friends, neighbors, and each of whom I'd like to thank. The first resident of this village is Pascual Lopez. Pascual Lopez has been running the bakery since 1995. We share a vision that is flexible enough to adapt to our customers' ever-changing needs, and he makes changes with great enthusiasm and imagination. Continuing our village theme, Sean Nelson, or chef, keeps the Kitchen Hood neighborhood running smoothly and strives to update the menu while honoring the Lou's traditions. Kim Silverman is more than our office manager. She is the go-to person when it comes to vegan, vegetarian, and yes, even gluten-free. Plus, she has a calming effect on all those who work at the village. And she may be the only vegan here tonight. Our general manager, Mark Coelho, is willing to do anything to put out the many fires that happen every day at the Lou's Village. He takes great pride in keeping things humming in a cohesive and fun environment. Marcy Bartlett. Our catering manager brings Lou's Village and creative catering menu to the tables of events throughout the Upper Valley. She does it with impeccable customer service and knowledge that puts the customers at ease when planning an event. My brother, Kim Freed, is the most recent member of our staff. He works on projects that take time and precision. So when we make decisions about our village, it is not based on my gut instinct, but on science. Most of all, I want to thank my wife. and business partner, Patty, who is the village webmaster, PR person, marketing director, and most of all, the mother of our two children, Danny and Rachel, and her sister, Margie. She tends to all their needs and desires beyond the call of duty. In addition, Patty has spearheaded our effort to bring environmental stewardship. She brings a genuine smile and nurturing disposition, not only to Lou's, but to our home also. And I want to thank you all for honoring us at this celebration. Thanks.
Lou's is very proud to have been chosen as this year's Small Business Innovator, and thanks the Chamber for recognizing us. We're blessed to live in a community surrounded by natural beauty that incorporates environmental stewardship in our schools and offers hands-on opportunities to bring this knowledge and enthusiasm into our communities. Our children will be most affected by our complicity. Just as important is how we do today, what we do today, will impact our children's lives tomorrow. Fortunately, young people in our community today will have the knowledge to perpetuate this cause, setting an example for all of us. In 2008, Lou's set out to become a certified green restaurant, a journey with many obstacles. Each year, we are challenged to add new sustainable practices as our certification requirements increase. The restaurant industry continues to be one of the biggest users of water and electricity and produces millions of pounds of waste annually. These numbers are unacceptable whether or not you're in the restaurant industry. Being an environmental steward in the restaurant business may often go unnoticed. However, in our community, people do notice, and they appreciate putting theory into practice. For example, the fact that we don't automatically place a glass of water in front of every customer saves 14,000 gallons of water each year. Our customers express gratitude for the opportunity to do things one plate at a time. It is our hope that we will be a model for others in the restaurant industry. Many of them see this as daunting, expensive, and labor-intensive. It is hard, but it is not impossible. But it goes beyond the restaurant industry, and the awardees here tonight are proof that it can be done. Toby and I want to thank you, and we look forward to continuing serving the community and helping all of us to be better environmental stewards. Thank you.
David Spaulding is the Chief of Staff for President Jim Young Kim at Dartmouth College. And prior, he served as VP for Alumni Relations at the college, leading their efforts to increase the engagement of some 70,000 alumni. Raised to kind of bleed green, he followed in his father's footsteps, class of '52, and graduated from Dartmouth in the class of 1976. David spent nearly 30 years in financial services and nonprofit management in New York before returning to the Upper Valley with his wife, Marianne, and their 2 kids. Right, David. Recently, he became a parent of a college student. Himself, his son, Andrew, is now a member of the Dartmouth class of 2014. As Chief of Staff, David is closely involved in issues that span the campus and intersect with the community at large. Often he finds himself looking across the table at the, my name, Upper Valley super negotiator, town manager Julia Griffin. How fitting that he present Julia with the 2011 Achievement Award. Please welcome David Spaulding.
Thank you, Doug. And, you know, Dartmouth and Hanover share many things, and one of the great things that we share is Uber volunteer Doug Wise. Doug is a member of the Dartmouth class of '59 and has filled so many volunteer roles at the college. I don't think I have time to get those in within the 4 minutes and 34 seconds I was allocated for this talk by Mr. Wise, who's carefully managing the evening. But Doug's also given back to this community through his work with the Hanover Chamber and a number of other organizations, and I want to thank Doug Wise for his great leadership tonight. Also on behalf of Dartmouth, I want to congratulate tonight's other honorees, Advanced Transit, Ava Gallery, and Luz. I mean, really, I had to go after Luz. All I can think of right now is a chocolate cruller. This really isn't quite working for me, but I will try to get it together and get back to the matter at hand. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you tonight as we celebrate leadership across the Upper Valley. And it is an honor to be presenting the 2011 Chamber Achievement Award to Hanover's outstanding town manager, Julia Griffin. I'd first, though, like to take a moment to acknowledge Janet Rebman and the Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber works hard to ensure that the town and surrounding areas remain a vibrant and welcoming community, not only for our faculty, students, and staff, but also for the thousands of visitors who come to the college each year. I'm grateful for their outreach and engagement and hope that the coming year brings continued growth to the Chamber and all of its members. When I was asked to present this award on behalf of the college, it felt a bit daunting. So many of you know Julia Griffin that I wondered what I could tell you about her that you didn't already know. Her impressive background in city management is well known, and in fact, she had former constituents from Santa Monica and Concord here with her tonight, so she's had an impressive career. But her civic work is also known in her tireless dedication to a host of local causes such as David's House and CHAD. Even her need to feed hungry young people is well known, be they her 6'2" son Chris, their daughter Katie and the entire Wesleyan women's crew team, German exchange students, or the random stranded Appalachian Trail hiker she's been known to take under her wing. But what many of you may not know is how hard she works on the town's partnership with the college, and how critical her work has been in identifying and achieving our common goals. So I'd like to take this opportunity to reflect on some of the things those of us who work a little further up Main Street have observed about the effectiveness of Julia's leadership. Dartmouth College and the town of Hanover enjoy a long-standing partnership. And when I say long-standing, I mean going all the way back to 1769, when one of Julia's earliest predecessors beat out other towns in a competition kind of like the American Idol competition in the Royal Province of New Hampshire to win Dartmouth College, and what was expected to be the great impact that Dartmouth College would have in raising the property values in whatever community was fortunate enough to have Dartmouth make it their home. Fast forward 242 years, under Julia's stewardship, the town-college partnership has only grown stronger. As far as I can tell, Hanover's land values have done pretty well in that time too, still remaining fairly high compared to those other towns in New Hampshire. By working together to achieve our mutual goals, we have far exceeded the progress we would have each made independently. For one, we have deeply appreciated Julia's commitment to promoting a common understanding of the impact that high-risk drinking has on the town as well as the college. As co-chair of a town-college task force on alcohol, she brought Dartmouth students, faculty, and staff together with Hanover law enforcement, select board members, and townspeople to open the lines of communication surrounding this issue. I'm sure there are many college towns across the country which could benefit from her example. Julia's work at bridging town and college interests on the issue of sustainability is also to be commended. She was instrumental in establishing the Sustainable Hanover Committee in an effort to lighten our community's carbon footprint. The committee has provided an excellent forum for Hanover and Dartmouth to work towards our common goals in this arena. As such, its achievements have ranged from improving the local public transit system to making alternative methods of transportation safer and more appealing to commuters and students. Hanover's first town manager courted Eliezer Wheelock with the same natural resources enjoyed today by members of the Dartmouth and Hanover communities alike. It follows, then, that we share the responsibility of protecting these resources. Under Julia's leadership, our collaborative efforts have been realized in numerous ways, including joint work with the Town Wetland Committee, the Hanover Conservation Commission, the Hanover Conservancy, and the Trescott Company. Julia does not just think about the immediate needs of our conjoined communities. She has a long-term vision that is critical to not only the ideal of environmental sustainability, but also the sustainability of an effective partnership between the town and the college. Julia's insight into the far-reaching needs of her community is only one of the many attributes that make her a model leader. Her open-mindedness and acumen have also helped earn her the respect of all those who have had the pleasure of working with her. On behalf of Dartmouth College, I am honored to recognize the contributions she has made as a leader in this community by presenting her with the 2011 Chamber Achievement Award. Please join me in congratulating Julia Griffin for her outstanding accomplishments and dedication. Julia, please come up.
So what a surprise it was to hear, as soon as I dropped off the planning committee for this event, that the Chamber decided to recognize me with their 2011 Achievement Award. I think it was payback, actually. Chamber staff will tell you that I'm not really comfortable being in the spotlight because I figure I get paid to do what I do, and because actually leadership in Hanover is really quite easy. Thanks to the countless folks who helped me do my job as town manager. In fact, I'm really just a bit player in a much larger award-winning production. So I need to thank my fellow players, and there are lots of them, the many individuals who work with me every day on behalf of the community. I don't have to tell you that Hanover is part of a very special place called the Upper Valley, but really it is all about the people who live here and contribute in so many ways to our regional community. First of all, I'm supported by some spectacular town staff who really love Hanover and work so hard with me to do good things for our community. From our highway crew, who keep our streets plowed on long, cold winter nights, and the guy who stops at my mailbox to see if I've left cookies for him when I know he's out for the night, to our police officers whose first job is to keep us safe, to our firefighter, EMTs, and paramedics who provide the best emergency medical services in the Upper Valley, and to our town hall staff who work hard to keep us on track, happily permitted, regulated, and out of the red. I am very grateful to them all. They do a magnificent job all on their own, and all I really have to do is turn them loose and cheer them on. And to Penny Hoisington, who's sitting right back there at table number 10. Penny has worked beside me for the past 15 years, and we all know she's really in charge. And she's retiring on November 30th. Penny, what will I do without you? You've kept me sane, so wonderfully supported, and smiling through a wonderful 15 years together. Thank you, my friend. And I'm also blessed and have been blessed with wonderful selectmen whose thoughtful and objective support, their guidance, and their work make my job an easy one. And I mean this when I say this. What's very special about Hanover is the quality of the people who sit on our Board of Selectmen. To Brian, Kate, Peter, Athos, and Judy now, and to Willie, to Bill, to Jay, to Jack, to Allegra, what a pleasure it has been to work for you and with you. Willie Black's no dummy. She lured me here in 1996, knowing that taking that then pregnant mom on a tour of the Ray School would be the hook that grabbed me. And then you turned me loose to manage. I continue to marvel at your creativity and your energy. And Brian, I have learned so much about leadership from you by talking things out, by collaborating on so many wonderful projects, and by supporting you in your efforts to help lead this community. You're a rat. I will miss you, but I'm excited for what you and Linda have in store for you as you enjoy becoming unfettered. As a permanent member of the Chamber Board as town manager, I've enjoyed helping with the transformation of the Hanover Chamber. Today's Hanover Area Chamber of Commerce, under the leadership of Janet Rebman and a fully engaged board of directors, brings new energy and renewed commitment to the Hanover business community. The town and I gladly partner with the Chamber on many fronts. Doug Wise, you led that transformation, and Janet, you walk it every day. Thank you. I'm grateful for our many collaborative opportunities with Dartmouth College. Truly, we are joined at the hip, and like siblings, sometimes we agree, sometimes we don't. But at the end of the day, both the town and the college work very hard to get things done for our community, our students, and the Upper Valley. 15 years ago, I took this position largely because of the strong town-gown relationship between Hanover and Dartmouth, which I was motivated to help maintain. It is the type of relationship that is very rare in the world of towns and gowns. I continue to be enthused by the way we work every day on all facets of our relationship. Hanover is Hanover because Dartmouth is here, and we benefit from this institution in so many ways. Then there are the countless, truly countless numbers of tireless local volunteers who contribute to make Hanover a wonderful place to live. I get to work with these volunteers every day to think about how to get good things done with them, and most importantly, to laugh with them. This community thrives on the backs of these superb individuals. And now I'm more excited than ever and committed to our shared desire for a healthy future. We have lots of opportunities for continuous improvement. The best example of this work is being done on sustainability. Lots of lower hanging fruit has already been plucked, and so many exciting projects are on the horizon. For example, how about that Hanover wastewater treatment plant, which will soon be retrofitted so that all the big carbon footprint generating methane that's created by the treatment process and released into the atmosphere will be recirculated to provide heat for the treatment process so we can wean ourselves off of heating oil. We're in the process of replacing all our old furnaces and hot water heaters with new, more efficient systems, replacing insulation, siding, and windows, installing better light bulbs, replacing street lights and traffic signals with new state-of-the-art LED fixtures, installing those solar parking pay stations that you all love so much in our parking lots and even on street soon, fueling our big diesel vehicles with B20 fuel, installing anti-idling devices in all of our smaller trucks and police cars, and even putting our police chief in a hybrid vehicle. We're on a roll, and we refuse to look back. Next stop, we're working on finalizing a food composting pilot project that will help Lewes afford to be even greener than it is now by disposing of its food waste along with other downtown restaurants. We're working on a new transit hub with a heated waiting room for our bus riders that we hope to build next to the Hanover Inn, thanks to a seamless collaboration with Van Chestnut of Advanced Transit, Dartmouth College, and the Upper Valley Lake Sunapee Regional Planning Commission. And we continue to be inspired by what the Ava Gallery did with the Carter Kelsey Building, a marvelous example of how to transform a fabulous old building. So hold on to your seats. We promise to keep you all challenged as we strive to be better environmental stewards. When I think there's nothing more to do, that's the time to turn the reins over to someone else, preferably younger and probably with lower blood pressure. But until then, I thank you for enabling me to be where I am in the community. This is fun stuff. Thank you.
All right, one more thought. We stand before you side by side because together we have had the good fortune to be touched by and work with a relative newcomer in the Upper Valley who's striving with all of his might to make a name for himself. So would you please give a round of applause to Brian Walsh. More than likely, you've heard that he's stepping down from the Select Board after 15 years on the board and the last 12 as their chair. But Brian, Janet, and I want you to know, and well as this distinguished audience, to know that the Chamber will miss you as much as we'll miss Julia. And rather than get all mushy tonight, we want to simply announce that at our Chamber's coming annual celebration of membership in January, we intend to officially thank you. So keep your butt in town. Until then, we hope you and Linda enjoy a wonderful holiday season as you finalize your plans for your next phase of life. Thank you.
Well, wow, what a night, right? Thank you for being here to share such a magical evening. We're so fortunate to live in this community together, filled with extraordinary leaders. We all benefit from your generosity of time, dollars, and talent every day. I'd like to congratulate this year's award winners. You each exemplified true leadership in our business and greater community. You, being enlightened stewards of the environment, have taught me that one's action and direction must be right for your circumstance. No single action is right for everyone. I am honored to learn from all of you. Tonight, to the many people I have to say thanks to, I want to say thank you in different ways. Inspired by Mr. Webster and Mr. Roget of Webster's Dictionary and Roget's Thesaurus, they agreed. The definition of thank you is a polite expression of one's gratitude. nothing else. Just that. No synonyms, no optional phrases, just a polite expression of one's gratitude. Not even Wikipedia could do better. So, in the interest of understanding the true meaning from me to those I'm about to thank, and at the risk of straying just a little too far from the term polite expression, I mean you are awesome, the best, stellar, most amazing, give yourself a round of snaps, amazing people. And so thank you in that way as I read on. First, thank you to you, all of you, each and every one. Because of you, the Hanover Area Chamber prospers and continues to serve you well. And with your everyday commitment to our community, you will reaffirm my belief that the place we call home continues to be one of the very best places to live. Golda Meir, former Prime Minister of Israel, said, "I never did anything alone. Whatever was accomplished in this country was accomplished collectively." This evening would not have happened without so many. First, the awards committee. I'm going to only make you stand for 30 seconds, so stand up just real quick so we can say thank you. Okay, awards committee, you know who you are. All the leadership awards. Tony, come on, you guys, get up. Jeez. I'd like to thank each of you for your humor, time, and energy. Truly a pleasure from me. Doug Wise, you can stand for a second. I don't know where you ran off to, Doug. Doug, who you all know, our own personal Energizer bunny, led this group with passion, creativity, and commitment. If you know Doug, you've experienced his willingness to step in and step up whenever and wherever requested. Doug also worked tirelessly with Doug Lufkin, Jenny Levy, and Jeffrey Moore to create the program you have in your hands this evening, a truly stunning and moving piece. Doug, we're truly grateful. Now, will the Board of Directors for the Chamber stand for just a second? Look, there's a lot of the same people. That should worry you. This stellar group has empowered me, the staff, and the 90-plus volunteer committee members to do and try great things. Author Reed Markham said, "A good leader inspires other men and women with confidence. A great leader inspires them with confidence in themselves." I would like to thank each of you for the confidence you have in me and have given me. Each of you has brought new meaning to the word great leader. The night would not be complete without thanking the people who make me and the Chamber look good every day. In addition to the board and our 90-plus volunteers, our HACC staff who's hiding in the back corner, Kristen, Maggie, Elise, and Melissa, creates and produces volumes of activities, programs, and events on behalf of the Chamber membership. Thank you. A heartfelt thank you also to my family for their support so I can do what I do every day. A very, very special thank you to you, Kristen, our event and administrative coordinator, whose incredibly easygoing, joyful personality and truly her pure enjoyment of putting on a successful event allows me and anyone else who's worked with her know we're in good hands. Kristen, also thank you for creating tonight's event in only sustainable products. Pretty impressive. Well done. A big thank you also and a round of applause for Summer Sweet Floral, Bloods also for the decor, Dowd's Country Inn for our reception this evening, and Hanover Inn who prepared our dinner. Now we have a new leader in our community and I know I'm going to embarrass him, but Joe, are you here? Malia? If you haven't met Joe Malia, he is the new general manager of the Hanover Inn. Please do take a few minutes and stop in and say hello. He really is going to be a new great leader in our community. This evening happened because of the dedicated sponsors who are here with us today, Cape Air, Ledyard Bank, Jane Kitchell and Peter McLaughlin, Jack and Dorothy Byrne, Dartmouth College, Citizens Bank, and Hypertherm. Thank you all for making this night so special. Before I close, I have to do my due diligence as your chamber director. I'd like to invite you and your family and friends to check out the chamber website regularly for calendar items. For example, on December 2nd in Hanover, the Chamber will host Celebrate the Season, coupled with Dartmouth's community tree lighting on the green, caroling, shopping, hanging with Santa, and so much more. Then on Tuesday the 13th, our next business education session is about effective governance for nonprofit boards. Check the website for details. And also remember, we have free parking on Saturdays and Sundays from Thanksgiving till the end of the holidays. Shopping should be a breeze. I would be remiss if I didn't mention the superior leadership our community demonstrated when friends and colleagues on both sides of the river worked through the crisis after Hurricane Irene. This region shined. So a big thank you to all of you in this room for helping lead our region through this tumultuous time. Tonight, I hope you've been inspired by the awardees, moved to become environmental stewards, talked with the people they've touched, and met our Board and Leadership Awards Committee. But have you met everyone sitting near you? For those of you who've been to this celebration before, you know it's my custom to ask you now to take just 10 seconds and turn to somebody you don't know and say hello. So I'm not kidding. Take 10 seconds, turn to somebody and say hello. Well done, all of you guys. Oh, Zach. So, do you guys all know what just happened? You might have just met the most important next person in your life. In my role at the Chamber, I have the honor of experiencing what you just experienced every day. Pretty awesome, right? So remember, something else just happened. You might be the next most important person in his or her life, too. With such a simple gesture, each of us can make a difference in making the Upper Valley just a little bit better. This kind of interaction is a small act of empowerment. Blaine Lee, of the Power Principle, may have said it best. The great leaders are like the best conductors. They reach beyond the notes to reach the magic in the players. Thank you all for your leadership and for joining us this evening, and I hope you all drive safely. Have a great night.